West End star Alexandra Burke's first baby is due any day now. She's so gorgeous with her bump. And she said she's planning to get back to work about 10 weeks after she gives birth. She says, I know 2 months may not seem like a lot of maternity leave, but I think it's right for me. She also added, I may totally change your mind. So how did you feel after you had your boys, Franks?
You know what? I went into my pregnancy, I think, where I'd worked from such a young age. I was like, right, when I have kids, I'll just, you know, stop working and be at home with the kids. And actually, when I had Parker, I was still in the Saturdays. So for me, it was kind of like, one, I had the pressure that wasn't being put on me by anyone else. But, you know, I was in a band. There's 4 other girls that are performing with one man down, fans going to watch shows with one person missing. So I don't actually remember how long I took off, but I was really ready to go back. Like, I loved being at home with him, but I knew that that wasn't for me full-time. I knew I needed to go back to work. Like, going to work makes me feel like me, and rightly or wrongly, but that's,
no, but
I love
why do you
it.
say rightly or wrongly? Do you feel like we're under pressure to say that actually it's quite a wrench to leave them and go into work?
Yeah, I do feel that. I do feel like there is that a little bit, which doesn't, the same doesn't really apply to men. Like, we all know when we go into work, like, oh, who's got the kids? Or, you know, I know that Wayne never gets asked those questions. But I also know that for someone like Alexandra, like, you don't get maternity pay in a job like hers. So financially, it's often not an option. You have to go back. And also, we have the luxury of loving our jobs. So I think it's so different for everyone. I've got friends that are desperate not to go back and finding any way not to go back, and ones that are really desperate to. So I think you get judged whatever choice you make, to be honest.
I think that's really interesting, though, that you said that you had this plan, but then once you got into it, it changed. And I think that's what we've got to allow women to feel. You know, if you do feel like this, that's fine. And if you feel like you want to go back to work, that's fine too. I mean, when I had Kaori, I was doing the big reunion. And I remember when I booked the job, I remember sitting around the table, and I was really heavily pregnant at that time, and they were like, are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. And, you know, and I did sort of breastfeed, and I had a nanny, and Dad was there, and so it was literally like breastfeed, give baby back, get up, do the dance move, you know, come back, breastfeed, and then carry on. But I think what that's done is acclimatise my children to a life where they're used to being on the move, they're used to kind of that change. But equally, if there was a time where I felt like they needed me to be home, then I would do that.
But what was the reaction to people seeing you, well, firstly, making that decision to go on tour with a young baby, but also people seeing you with a young baby and also working? I
think it's mixed. Some people, like, you know, frown on you, like, you know, what have you got that child out in the street for? It should be at home, whatever. But I didn't take her out until she was 3 months. So she'd had all her vaccinations. You know, she'd had that kind of clean bill of health from the doctor. So I felt like I was OK to do so. And she was always with somebody that loved her and cared about her. And like I said, I think my children, I don't think it's done them a disservice in any way.
No, they're really well.
And you had 2 pregnancies during
I did, yes. I was filming Birds of a Feather, so we do 2 series a year. So I was pregnant twice, and they obviously had to hide it because I was with Daryl, and Daryl was in prison, so there was no way I could get pregnant by Daryl. So I'd just have a big bag covering it over, whatever. But I couldn't wait to get back to work, because also I was going to work with my friends every day, and we worked with the same crew through all the series and that. And I kept thinking, well, all of them are out of work now because of me, because I'm at home with the baby and that. So, and my babies were well looked after, so my husband looked after them, or my mum looked after them, so I knew they were in safe hands that when I did go to work. But I loved being able to go back to work. I really, really did. And same as everyone else, we've got bills to pay, haven't we? So we need our money to come in still.
But I think it's interesting as well that no one's asking what her partner's doing. Like, this is a big story.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're all talking about it, which is great. But also, like, I know from being in the castle, Danny, who won, his baby was like a newborn. And everyone kind of was like, wow, that's amazing. He's providing for his son, and isn't he great for doing that? And, you know, I didn't even cross my mind either way. You know, I knew it was really tough for him. But I imagine if that was, say, me, and I was leaving my newborn child, imagine the rubbish I would have received. So it's interesting, I think.
What about you, Shah?
Well, I did 8 months with both, and I knew before I went on maternity, before I gave birth to Alfie, I knew I was going to take 8 months. Part of that was financial because of that was on my baby name. Part of it was financial because of maternity pay and how it works in this country. Not everyone gets like a year. Some companies do provide a year's full pay for maternity, but it's not usual. And I needed to go back. I've got bills to pay, but also I was ready. So I'd done the whole baby class thing. I'd made some friends, you know, locally and stuff, which was great. But I needed to feel like I was getting me back. And being at work makes me happy. Being a mum makes me happy. But having a combination, is, and I think we're all very similar in that way.
Yeah.